Alright, we're going to show you how to do in this video is change brushes on a grinder typically used by a welder. I wrote up here, my grinder doesn't work. So I had a guy come up to me and he said, this grinder doesn't work, and he wanted to throw it out. He said, it won't even turn on, it's junk. So you probably just got to change the brushes. We have expensive grinders, so we're not just going to throw out an expensive grinder. We're going to at least check the brushes and check all the power cords and things like that if it's not working properly, right? So let's go over here. Brushes are made out of carbon and copper, and I drew a little diagram right here. I'm no artist, all right? This is what they look like. This is the carbon part right here. It's usually in the shape of a rectangle, roughly 3/4 of an inch to an inch long, depending on how big the grinder is. And then this is braided copper that comes down here to a compression fitting that slips on to a fitting. And then sometimes there's a spring. I drew the spring around it. Some of them have springs, some of them don't, depending on the application, I guess. And eventually, this part right here goes onto the actual rotor, and as it spins, it eventually will eat away. So you could open it up and have it eaten away to that much of the carbon piece of that brush, right? And if that's the case, you got to change the brushes, all right? So let's go back up here. Conduct electricity from the stator to the rotor, so that's what it's doing. It's conducting electricity to that rotating part of the grinder. That's why it gets eaten away, because as it rotates, it eats away at the brush, right? Now, if you have bad brushes, you're not conducting electricity. So if you turn it on and it's running and it's going ba-day, 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 like it's hitting and missing, you're probably starting to wear them brushes out. If it don't turn on at all, your brushes are shot. You gotta switch them out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out there. I got a Metabo that's down, it won't even turn on. We're going to pull them brushes out, put new brushes in, and I'll film it and show you how to do that. They're held in by a little bit of a spring, and you got to make a little tool to pull the spring up. And then it's pretty simple, but don't just throw your grinder out because you think that it's junk. You might just have to switch the brushes because you got bad brushes. So let's get out in the lab and let's change the brushes on this Metabo. All right, before we take out the brushes, I'm just going to show you a shot of the new brushes. There they are. So what we'll do now is I'm going to make a special tool. I'll show you the tool, and then we'll go from there. So this is a tool that we made, and it's a piece of, I think, 045 TIG wire. I've been around to get a little hook to get that spring off the brushes. So what we'll do now is we'll zoom in on the brushes, and we will pull them out. So here we are on the brushes, and the first thing we're going to do is take some needle nose, and I'll try and make it so you can see. Take the needle nose, pull that off. Then you got to take the tool that we just showed you and take this and bring it up here, the spring over to here, and then you can pull the brush right out. And you can see that baby is shot. Now to put it back in, you do the exact opposite. If I can get it out of the bag, I probably should have had it out of the bag before I started. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drop that down in. Grab our little tool again. Oops, I got it going the wrong way. Sorry. You want to make sure that that copper strand can go down in there. But let's get the spring on first. If you get the spring on first, then you're not going to lose the spring. So pick that up, put the spring on it. Then we're going to take our needle nose again, reattach this, if I can get a hold of it. And sometimes it's harder than it is easier, so you just got to work it on there a little bit. There it goes. And then you're going to take your tool and stuff the copper strand down into that little groove there. What I'll do is I'll use my needle nose actually. Alright. There it is. Installed. We're ready to rock. I'm going to flip it over. We'll do the other side now. Alright, flipped it over. Needle nose. Okay, pulled that off, grab our special tool, get the spring off. Boy, this side is really shot. And we're going to pull that out, and as you can see, that's bad. New one with the copper strand going where the groove is. Alright, we got our tool, put the spring back on. Then we're going to take the needle nose, oh, I want to break it. Let's see if we can get that on there. Come on, there it goes. There we go. And we're going to stuff that strand down in that little cavity there. Alright, now we'll reassemble. Alright, so reassembly is pretty easy. I shouldn't have said that out loud because you know how that goes. You say it's going to be easy and then you have all kinds of problems. And we got the screws here. Alright, and then I'm going to grab the bit because I have no idea where it went, and we'll screw this together. Alright, I got the wrench here. I'm going to use hand tools because I don't want to use an impact because I don't want to strip it out. I've been known to overuse impacts. So we're going to snug this baby up. Then we'll plug it in and see if it works. Alright, we'll plug it in. Alright, so the final thing we got to do here is turn it on, make sure it works. That took longer than I thought it would to slow down, but hopefully that gives you a good idea how to replace the brushes on a grinder. That's all we got for today. Thanks for watching and subscribing to TV Weld, and we'll see you next time.